Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and happy Valentine's Day to all of the loved ones out there. Everyone spreading love all over the world. Hopefully, this extends to the other 364 days of the year. But we know that today is the day of love. And in honor of today being the day of love, let's review the new romantic comedy slasher film, Hard Eyes, which is currently in theaters. This film is directed by Josh Rubin and it stars Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding. Yes, Cuba's little boy. And this is a film that is about a serial killer known as the Hard Eyes Killer who targets couples on Valentine's Day. And this is a film that when I saw the trailer for, I'm like, well, a little generic little, slasher film that we normally get twice a year in theaters, a little small budget film that they put together, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it don't. And even the ones that hit, you kind of forget about after a week or so. And that'll be that. And I thought that Hard Eyes fit that category. It looked interesting, but if you've seen one slasher film, you've seen them all, right? Well, Hard Eyes is something different. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this movie. This movie had no business being as good as it is. I'm shocked on how good it is. This movie is written or co-written by Christopher Landon. If you don't know who that is, first and foremost, he's the son of the late great Michael Landon, and he has written as well as directed some really good films in the past, horror-wise, horror comedy-wise. He has written a few because there's so many of them, but he's written, I think, 4 of the Paranormal Activity films, and yeah, they were diminishing returns, but they were all right, for what they were. He wrote and directed Happy Death Day as well as Happy Death Day to You. And the first one, Happy Death Day, was a sneaky good film. Once again, had no business being as good as it was, but it was a banger. And I would put Hard Eyes in that category. If you was a fan of Happy Death Day, this pretty much keeps that same tone, the same level of comedy as well as horror. Actually, it's more horror in here. I think Happy Death Day, it had some cool little kills in it, but it was more on a PG-13 level. I can't remember if Happy Death Day was PG-13 or not, but my mind keeps telling me it is because I don't remember any gruesomeness as far as the kills are concerned. In Hard Eyes, it is gruesome. It is some brutal kills in this film, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It is brutal in the best way possible. One of the selling points on this film, after I walked away from it, which made it enjoyable, because it isn't kill throughout these 90 minutes. It's not just a blood filled mess like in the old Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Streets and Halloween films. No, it's not like that. You get your kills, once we get to the second act or start or bottom of the first act into the second act and on. But you get a couple in the beginning. But the point I'm trying to get at is what sells the movie is the relationship between our two leads, Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding. I loved it. I actually loved it. Olivia Holt, I know nothing about. I'm pretty sure my daughters know because she, I think, came to fame with these old Disney shows. I don't even remember what Disney show she was on, but and she grew up on that. Now she's older and she's getting more mature roles like this. But this was my first exposure to it that I knowingly know who she is. Probably seen her in other things, but she did a phenomenal job here. Enjoyed her. Can't wait to see more of her. This is a star making role. She really held this film down. A great job by her. I enjoyed the chemistry she had with everybody she was on screen with, but I really enjoyed the chemistry between her and Mason Gooding. And Mason Gooding, I've seen him in a couple of things, nothing lead wise. So this was kind of a turn to see if he can shoulder this responsibility of being the male lead in a film. Good job. Good job. Was it great? No. It was very cheesy. But it fit the movie, you know. This movie is cheese I mean, super cheesy. It's almost as if it was filmed in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but it wasn't. But this is a very cheesy movie. And it's supposed to be. This was supposed to be a non-serious take on this material, and it leaned into it, a la Happy Death Day. It's the same thing, you know. It's a serious subject in some sorts, but they find a way to make it a comedy, but still keep the level of dread and terror flowing throughout because this Hard Eyes killer was a beast. So I really did appreciate the tone and the romantic comedy aspect of it. And I'm not a big romantic comedy guy. That's why I was a little curious on how this was going to come out, how this was actually going to work. And they did it perfectly. The romance that bloomed between our two characters was done perfectly. I super enjoyed their chemistry. The direction here, it was a little clunky at times. You can tell that Steven Spielberg didn't make this movie. This is not a a Martin Scorsese film, but it's decent enough, but it is a little clunky. It feels like parts or scenes were rushed to get to, and this is when we get to the middle part of the film, the second act of the film. The first 30 to 45 minutes of this movie, it really does take its time, establishing the characters, establishing the threat that is the Hard Eyes killer. I think it really took its time, and I appreciate it for that. But once we got to the second act, it was kind of rushed. And don't get me wrong, when we get to that point, it was a chase. It got to the point they were running from the killer. I get all that, but it just, I don't know. It's like the timing was off on a couple of scenes where it was kind of like boom, 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 as opposed to boom, 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 boom. It was boom, 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 boom. And it feel like you missed something, but it's nothing that I'll be like, oh man, this movie sucks. Nah, it's not that. It wasn't that bad. This, as I said, the kills, were super brutal. Is it the type of film that you have to turn your brain off, and suspend disbelief? Yes, you do. I mean, that's in every horror film. You see serial killers or these slashers who all of a sudden have superhuman strength, all of a sudden pop up out of nowhere. They're chasing you and you got a block lead on them. You turn around to see where they at, they disappear. You turn back around in front of you and there they all pop up in front. That type of disbelief that you got to be like, okay, now you're a teleporter or speedster, one of the two. But yeah, but that's why you go to these movies. You go to these movies for that reason. This movie is not perfect. No slasher film is, but it truly does play a homage to all of those type of films, all of those slasher films that we grew up watching, all of those romantic comedies that we watched growing up as well. It blended the two and made this beautiful romantic perfect Valentine's date movie, Hard Eyes. I truly enjoyed. I give Hard Eyes a letter grade of a B minus. Yeah, I mean, It got me. I really wasn't expecting nothing from this film. Absolutely nothing. And what I got was a good time. And what more can you ask for out of a romantic comedy slasher film? But I would love to know, what did you think of Hard Eyes? Did you like it? Did you hate it? And what are you planning to do with your significant other on this Valentine's Day? Let me know by email, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for this show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Concession Stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoy your day, your flowers, your candy, your champagne, the going out to eat, the going to the movies. Go check out Hard Eyes. And speaking of Valentine's Day, I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love everyone. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.